welcome to Spotlight. We come to you today from Copa in Juhu. And we have two actually extraordinary guests today. They're very special. Every one of their cinematic outings, almost without fail, incurs the sort of lavish praise that I think most people dream about. So I'm thrilled, as I'm sure all of you are, to be able to welcome to the show Rajkummar Rao and Vikramaditya Motwane.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you both so much for being here. But I have to start by saying thanks for nothing. Your trailer has literally embodied every claustrophobic fear I have.
And you must see the film. It's very motivating.
Yes.
Yeah, it's inspiring in your.
It'll cure your claustrophobia.
Yeah.
Or it will amplify it to a level that I can't recover from.
And then cure it eventually.
Yes. Bombay by itself has this deeply claustrophobic nature. So was it the city that sort of triggered it? Was it a moment?
I would love to take credit for the idea, but it's actually not mine. It belongs to the writer, Amit Joshi, who sent me an email with this idea about this story.
And what gripped you was?
Just the idea. Just the fact that it's about a guy who's stuck in an apartment for 3 weeks without food, water, electricity, and how he has to survive. And I was like, wow, this is so cool. Why has no one ever thought of this before? Why have we not kind of made something like this before anywhere?
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, anywhere in the world. I mean, and that I think just really kind of like gripped me. Yeah. And of course, there's a rat in the film, which is, and I have a fear of rats. I was like, okay, this is the film for me. I have to kind of do this for, to kind of get over my fear and stuff.
What about for you? Like just again, sort of immersing yourself. It's all you as a rat and a cockroach, if I'm not mistaken.
A few cockroaches.
Cockroaches, some ants,
Oh,
some
nice.
apartments.
So there's an ensemble cast, right? It's
It's an ensemble cast.
It is. Some really amazing, very real actors, co-actors I had. For me, the whole idea of to get a chance to work with Vikram Motwane, and then on top of that, to get a chance to work with a script like this, I think I couldn't have asked for anything more. As an actor, it's so, if I can say, orgasmic, to play a character like Shaurya. And I've been a big fan of his work. I've been after his life since Udaan. I wanted to do Udaan, then he's like, Raj, you're a little old for Udaan. And then Lutera, he's like, probably something else.
A little young for them.
Yeah. Then we just met at one of the screenings, and he told me about this idea, and I was kicked. I was very excited, but then I thought, let me just hold my horses till he calls me back and says it's actually happening. And that's what happened. He called me and
But in all seriousness, not having like co-actors to play off, like it's all you. It must be, it must be exhilarating, but also terrifying and challenging possibly in ways that for both of you was, some sort of a discovery, right?
No, in my case, I didn't miss having any co-actors on set. I don't like too many lines. Honestly, as an actor, I like being quiet and just being myself on screen, or the character that I'm playing on screen. So that way, I had a lot to do in the film. Though the city was my in a way co-actor, I was having a dialogue trying to have a dialogue with the city, trying to get their attention, but nobody bothered. So I was very happy being with myself. I really didn't miss anything. Yeah.
So what I did after that is as an exercise I felt which has worked for the film, because I realized we were shooting the film in sequence, which is very cool. So I stripped down the screenplay completely, and literally we went in to shoot with the 35-page script, which is very normally it's like 120 pages. We stripped it down to 35 pages. I just let's just go with the beats of what we really want. I figured we're going to improvise pretty much all the dialogue along the way, if at all. So yeah, part of it was me about saying that okay, let's just after having gone through this entire process of full screenplays, what happens when you strip it down to its bare basics, and go inside with an actor who you trust and the actor trusts you, and say let's go and discover ourselves in a weird kind of way and see what we do out of this. I think because we had the luxury of shooting in sequence, we could manage to do that. I'm not sure.
But that's also, it's not many films that get to do that or can do that.
No, very lucky. Yeah. It's a director's dream, and it's everybody's dream to sort of like say, hey, we can kind of do this.
No, even as an actor, I think it's amazing that you know the emotional grab of the character.
Yeah, and you kind of like see it organically, kind of like building up, and you're kind of like discovering the process going along. It's very exciting. It's fun.
Now you also, there were certain, I imagine, unexpected challenges that were thrown up. I read somewhere that you were eating carrots and coffee throughout.
Yeah, carrot, not carrots.
Okay, carrot
Yeah.
and coffee. A carrot. Oh, that just, and we're going to get to that. And also that you made him eat meat for the first time or something?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
I know how it tastes now.
Yeah, okay. It's delicious.
Well, I'm a vegetarian, guys.
Shaurya ate the
Shaurya
meat.
ate the meat. Yeah,
But coffee and a flaming carrot, that's horrible.
it is
That's
black
I didn't
coffee.
ask him to do any of that stuff. He did it himself. I was like, we used to actually sort of like tease him the first few days.
Would
He'd
you
come out
like-
after like lunchtime, and we're having all our like whatever chicken, and he's having this little coffee and carrot. I'm like, are you hungry? He kind of like let's slink off into his room after that. Saying, I don't want to talk to you guys. Stay away from me during lunch break.
Trust me, it's you feel there's so much anger inside you once if we don't eat.
Yes.
So I've experienced all that during the process of this shoot. But I think it was just needed for the part. I couldn't have done it without going through this experience. No, I can't. That would have been somewhere fake. I think it wouldn't have been.
I think you must have actually been lightheaded at some point.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there were times when I was getting angry, and there were times when I was having blackouts. But I think.
I mean,
when
I would
see the
imagine.
film,
I can barely go 2 hours on a cup of coffee and a carrot, right? So the other thing, and we're going to open it up to the audience in just a bit, but I want to ask, do you have any fears other than rats that basically this film also tapped in?
I do have a slight vertigo. I have a slight fear of heights. I mean, it's not like I can't kind of like look down, but it's this bit of like I'm not step there.
Right.
Like those holes in those balconies would freak me out.
Yeah. No, likewise, I think I have a slight vertigo.
And you know the moment where the television falls? You know, this small thud. And it's just like, and everything is something that I think all of us have played through in our heads.
But that's the fun of being an actor. See, I could have never done that as Rajkummar. I could have never thrown a TV out of my house.
Yeah.
But I could because I was just playing a character.
All right, we have questions. Sorry, there's a very hopeful smile over there. And I feel like I've been mean.
Sir, actually, I have a question for you. How challenging was it as an actor to play a person who's stuck in a building? And what all challenges did you face to act? I mean,
It was very challenging. It was both physically and mentally very exhausting for me. To get that psyche right of a guy, because I have never experienced that before. So I couldn't even imagine how would my body be, how would my body react if I don't eat for 10 days. So that's the reason I was telling her I had to go through that experience. So I had, of course, I was saying it was physically very taxing, emotionally taxing, but no complaints. Because I know, I don't know when will I get this kind of script again in my career to go through this experience and to have so much scope as an actor to perform. Yeah, but it was challenging. Yes.
I'm Nishant. So I've been following Phantom films for a long time, since its inception. The kind of films which Phantom has been producing or making has been in a forte of indie or untouched topics. Why wasn't the idea of making a Bollywood film still tapped upon in Phantom?
I think when we started off, we were like, look, I think we felt that the audiences are out there looking for interesting stories, and we wanted to tell interesting stories within the Bollywood format. And I believe that a Queen or an Udta Punjab have been kind of, in a sense, Bollywood films, but they've just been interesting stories, told in interesting ways. And I think if you look today at the way the industry is and the kind of films that are working, it's in a sense what we've been trying to do. I mean, a Dangal was something that we would have loved to have done. That's the kind of film that we would have loved to have picked up, or even a Jolly LLB, or even But if you look at the films that are actually sort of like working, whether it's Nirja or Kapoor and Sons and these kind of films, this is your new commercial cinema. This is exactly what Phantom's been trying to do, where you're trying to like marry really interesting indie subjects, but get stars to do them so that you can actually sort of like, so more people watch them. So NH10 is exactly that, Udta Punjab is exactly that, Queen is exactly that. That's been our attempt to kind of like say take indie ideas, but once you bring big actors to the table, it becomes commercial automatically.
How rewarding is it for you guys? The movement is reaching where it's supposed to. For you, I was watching an interview where you were talking with Manoj Bajpayee, and he was saying just how jealous he is of you at this time.
It's a fantastic time. I think I'm excited by this state of movies. You go out there and see whether it's what's happening with commercial cinema generally, whether your landscape of what the films are working, whether it's what's happening with regional cinema. I think Marathi films are amazing these days. The kind of stuff they're doing is fantastic. I'm excited about that. Content is solid. Commercial content is now becoming more and more solid. When I say indie films, I mean films like we've done, like with films like Masan, for example, which have been extremely tough to produce. The toughest films to produce are the small ones because you know that you're going to put in some amount of money, you have to put in P&A as well, and then you get it to work in the theater. There'll be limited screens, a limited audience, and those are the ones that get tough. But and because of the number of films being made, those films get a smaller and smaller window at the box office.
Yeah, I think as you said, it's very exciting times for industry, and I'm very happy that I'm here at this point of time in my life. Because when I came to Mumbai after studying from FTI, there was Dibakar Banerjee, Anurag Kashyap, Vikramaditya Motwane, Imtiaz, and all these guys were making some really wonderful films. So you were there, but you didn't make your film by then. Yeah. So, but that's what actually I've heard some really horror stories from Manoj sir, that how when he shifted to Mumbai, and there were very few people who would make the kind of film that he would love to act in. But now I think we have so many of them, and really thanks to all these young generation of filmmakers that they're writing such exciting stories and they're writing characters. They're not writing something that, okay, I have this actor, let me write something for him. They're writing characters and then they cast.
And then actors are able to inhabit them completely, as in your case. Let's talk a little bit about choices, and then I promise we're coming to you. But let's start with choices, I swear. One question only. Which is, your first film about intense sort of growing pains coming of age. Your second film, sort of lush, romantic, and now this. At least for me, and I know I speak for myself, bone-chillingly scary. So, again, what's the draw for you? Like, when does a story just, what's been the catch, arguably?
I think somebody, I did an interview last week, and a journalist kind of like asked me the same question pretty much, and I was like, so what is the catch? What's the similarity between all these three films? Is there anything that kind of like ties Udaan, Lutera and this one together? And he said, they're all films about loners. And I said, that's actually really kind of interesting, this fact that there is, and maybe that's, and I am a bit of a loner in that sense. I'm fairly independent, and I'm very happy to be content with, myself and books and music and movies and that kind of stuff, and not have to kind of, maybe it's that. Maybe it's the fact that you kind of like, it's like, oh wow, cool, one guy alone in an apartment, great, no dialogue, wow. Like this is so cool, you can actually sort of like create scenes. I am drawn definitely, and I know it from my own work, and I see it, and I don't know why it is. It's not like I'm a huge silent film buff, but I'm really drawn towards just cinema without dialogue. I just like that. I just think that it's really kind of like nice. It's you can say so much without saying anything, and I know, and I've been accused of it in a sense. Yeah, Udaan was so quiet, and Lutera was so quiet. True, but I'm saying it's an acquired taste. I don't think it's for everybody, and but I also do think that Trapped is actually, and this is other people said, it actually is my most commercial film to date, and I truly believe that. I think it's my most accessible film.
So for you again, like these just. Incredible roles. What is your hook? What do you look for? Do you look for absolutely specifically a role? Are you equally drawn to the team behind it, the people you'll be working with? Do you have the long game in terms of sort of career success, or is it just about this moment? This is what challenges me.
I think it's an amalgamation of all these factors, but the most important factor for me is the story. I read the whole script as a script first, and as an actor I should feel excited about it. I should react to the script. So that's my only process of. So
you react to the script, the story, before you even react to the role for you?
Oh yes, first I'll have to react to the story. Like in case of Queen, when I read the script, I knew it's a really kick-ass story. Nobody has told a story like this before, and then I read it again from Vijay's perspective. And I thought, there's some scope in it as an actor also to perform, and he's a really important part. The film can't move without him. So that's the reason I did Queen. But in case of like Trapped, my first, actually the most important factor was him, to get a chance to work with him, because whatever he'll make, I know that it will be worth it just to give 2 months of my life to him.
He's a fantastically unselfish actor.
I was going to say that's an unusual and strangely egoless for for this profession.
I think I don't know. I don't want to brag about it, but I think that's how it should be. Like acting. We're dealing with emotions. How can you say that this is my scene and I'm gonna show this co-actor? No, he's your co-actor, man. He's playing some part in your life.
Also, the roles he chooses. I mean, Queen was a really brave role to choose because you're literally the villain of the film, and not in a sense, a villain who's got all these cool lines and the gadgets and the parts. You're actually playing a real.